Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are taking a look at a post, and this is an interesting one. This is from someone who plays in a 4/5 stack with their friends, and the style that they want to play versus the style that their friends play doesn't match up as they tell us. And they're going to tell us about that, so let's get into the details here. Is it their fault that things aren't working? Is it for their friend's fault? Is it that they're in a 5 stack and that's the worst size stack to be in on ladder? Or do people just have different understandings of how the game works? Who's right? Are they both wrong? What's going on here? Did they give us enough information? Let's find out. So, first, so I feel like there's disillusion in the style I want to play with my friends. I'm so often degraded in my 4 to 5 stack with friends. Okay, well, if you're frequently degraded, you probably want to either figure out what's wrong, what's causing you to get degraded there, or you want to find friends that aren't doing that to you. Like those would seem like the things. Either you want to get to a point where that's not happening, or you want to find new friends, or you want to understand that, hey, they mean it in the lighthearted, sometimes, people take shots at each other when they're friends, and that actually is how friendship works. I don't know which of the three are going to be the answer here, but let's keep going. My calls are not listened to, and I feel like in general, my friends' teammates play much further than the state of the game allows them to. This is a concerning sentence to me. I feel like in general, my friends' teammates play much further than the state of the game allows them to. This is a concerning sentence to me because it could be true. It could be that your teammates get super foolish and go get farmed and go jump into 1v5s, 1v6s, but frequently this happens to low SR players, where low SR players go like, no, 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 don't go forward. We can't spawn camp them. We can't push up and go get staggers, or no, we're only allowed to get staggers for a second or two. You're too far forward, when it's actually better. It is actually better, and this is counterintuitive to a lot of low SR, super conservative type players, where they go, no, I don't want to do that, that's risky. And every time my team spawn camps, they get eliminated. Yeah, you lose about half the fights in an unbalanced game of Overwatch. So yeah, I expect if they spawn camp that they're going to lose, and they're going to lose faster than they might normally lose because the fights are going to happen faster. The people coming out of their spawn get to take the fight every 10 seconds as opposed to every 20 or every 30 seconds. So it feels like, oh, they lost so quickly, but that's still actually better for the team that's spawn camping, because even if they just won one fight, the team coming out of the spawn now still has to run up and close that distance to get to the objective, that sort of thing. So like, this is setting off alarm bells in my head of, you might be that player who doesn't understand, who is too conservative, who goes, no, spawn camping is bad, my team always loses, or always eventually loses a fight when they spawn camp. Well, yeah, they're supposed to eventually lose a fight. And eventually it happens way too quickly. Well, no, they're actually getting the time back and the other team traveling. But I don't know that yet, so let's keep going. I'm often subjected to monotone support play. Why is your support play monotone? Are you just heal botting? They tried to make me main tank, but berated me when playing that role. Berated you when playing that role. Okay. What was that like? I feel like if they listened to the calls of the main tank and didn't just sort of ignore them, I'd be a lot more noticeable in game. Can they listen to your calls? What do your calls sound like? Like, I'm being a bit contrarian here, somewhat intentionally, but what were your calls like? Were you telling your Genji to dive when he didn't have dash and you were playing Winston? Were you telling everyone to back up when they had a clear advantage and knew that they could win the fight? Were you telling people to focus your target when they couldn't get to your target? I don't know what your calls sound like, so give me a little bit more here. I feel like if they listened to the calls of the main tank and didn't just sort of ignore them, I'd be a lot more noticeable in the game. Is what's happening, you're telling them not to push forward, you're telling them to stay with you, stay behind your shield when they recognize that that's not the correct way to play the game? Like, staying behind Reinhardt's shield is not correct, they want to take angles? Are you telling them to stay with you when you're just pushing cart and they want to go push forward and get those staggers based on the previous thing about them pushing up further than the game state allows? Like, I don't know what's going on here. Off tank is my best role, but a lot of the time someone else will just queue tank, and it means I go on to support. Well, that's potentially an issue. I mean, if off tank is your best role, are you one of the better or one of the worst players in the stack? Because if off tank is one of your best roles, you might need to go, hey, I'm going to play off tank. I'm a better off tank than this other person we have, or my being on off tank is better than this other person being on off tank because their next best role is closer to the value of their off tank than my next best role, which seems to be support here is. Like, that's something that maybe you need to figure out, and if too many of you are having to play off role, you probably don't want to stack together. Not if you're being serious about trying to compete and win. If you're just having fun laddering and you guys don't care about your SR, that's fine. You can do that, I suppose. Still not really cool to do that as a 5 stack because the 6th random who gets stuck with you is in a really bad situation because the ladder isn't generally going to find 5 stacks to match you against. It's going to find 4 stack plus 2 stack, or it's going to find a 6 stack to pair you against, and a 6 stack will crush a 5 stack plus a random. Like, that 6 stack is really underperforming if they don't. So, not the best thing to do with 5 stacks, but I look at this and say, hey, you need to figure it out. You don't generally want to be stacking if you have multiple people on roles that they aren't very, very confident on. So, you need to break if you're trying to play to win. If you're trying to play as friends, actually get up to 6 and stack as 6 there. Or go into quick play. Okay. I don't have a lot of problems with off tank. The role is pretty simple, and there's only so much you can call out. The off tank rule is simple. D.Va's not all that simple. D.Va's got a very, very complex hero. You have to understand, okay, do I want to spend boosters now to go get this high ground on this off angle, or do I want to save my boosters so that I have them available for peel? Is there time for me to go take this high ground and not get punished? If I take this high ground, can I effectively protect my Reinhardt? If I'm on this high ground, am I stopping the Tracer from getting through to my backline? Are there other heroes that allow me to not worry about stopping this Tracer from getting through to my backline? Do I need to be in a place where I can go answer their Hanzo? Okay, can I hide myself in such a way that I can cast my DM and catch that Dragon Strike, that grab, without that Zarya really knowing where I am? That sort of thing. Okay, how can I keep my mech alive long enough while staying close enough to that Mei that she doesn't feel like she can use Blizzard? How am I going to finish this booster? Am I going to use a U-turn? Am I going to finish on high ground when I got boop value out of it? Okay, am I just going to quietly sit here, let the enemy walk past me, and then drop behind them, free drop onto their Zen with micro missiles, and then use boosters to get out? Like, D.Va's a complicated hero. Sigma's a pretty complicated hero. I'm not so sure about this. Off tanks are simple. And as for limited comms role, no, I've had off tanks that were primary fight planners. So it doesn't have to be. Imagine not liking being degraded, right? Crazy. No, I get that, and that might mean it's time to find a new group, but it's again hard to know because some groups of friends, that's what they do, and this person might not just fit with this groups of friends. Like, some groups of friends, they do constantly take shots at each other, constantly let air out of each other's balloons, etc. Hard to know. But yeah, it could be that they're just not going to fit because this person doesn't like that, even if those people are being playful. And then, yeah, they'd need to find a new group for sure. I don't have a lot of problems with off tank. The role is pretty simple, and there's only so much you can call out. It's fun and slightly brainless. You are not playing a good off tank if you feel like it's slightly brainless. Yeah. Um, which off tank is slightly brainless? I mean, no. I consider my D.Va to be pretty strong, and Zarya is alright as well. I think your D.Va is feeding. If you think off tank is slightly brainless, I think your D.Va is feeding. I think based on this sentence that you're playing D.Va like she's budget Reinhardt in the front line, and you're feeding the enemy team tons of ult charge, and your support is having to pay way too much attention to you. I don't know that to be the case. I haven't seen your gameplay, but role is simple, slightly brainless, your D.Va to be pretty strong. Um, I'm concerned about the level of your diva. I would like to see some of your diva. I would like if you hop in chat or if you comment later to tell me how frequently is your diva on off angles on high ground. How frequently is your diva able to keep high ground space away from Hanzos, Winstons, Soldiers, Cassidys, things like that? How often does your diva team up with one other diver to take someone out? How many ults do you eat per game? I would like to know how much off-angle play you make, basically. Like, I would like to know how much high ground off-angle play you make in the average game, or if you're hanging more with your supports or more right behind your Reinhardt or Winston or something like that, because I'm concerned here. Okay. And Zarya is all right as well. As for support, however, that's where the trouble begins. I'm so often placed on Ana. If my friends had their way, I'd be an Ana one-trick pony. Okay, so your team needs Ana. That's interesting. Does your team need Ana because they have Winston, because they have Genji, because your shot caller knows how to play double bubble? Let's get more into this. Or do they just require a ton of healing? Let's take a look here. Like, it could just be, this could totally be a case of your friends just want infinite healing and think infinite healing can save them. And that doesn't work. You can't heal through stupid in this game. That does not work. Maybe they want you on Ana because Moira has range limitations. They don't want you on BAP because with BAP they think you get distracted shooting, and they just want healing. They're being greedy. Could totally be what's going on. I don't know. Could also be, again, that, hey, they have a Winston player and a strong Winston player, and they really like that Ana. Let's see. It's not like playing that much Ana is justified in any way. While I enjoy playing her, I never really hear anything from my friends that would imply I am a good Ana. Okay. I mean, do you hear your friends regularly complimenting each other, or are they just not the complimentary type? Like, some people are very comfortable handing out and receiving compliments, and other people aren't. And I don't know about your friendship group. Like, your friendship group, some male friendship groups are really big on, hey, we're gonna take the piss out of each other, and that's how they sort of show their affection. Whereas others can do compliments, but it's not incredibly common for guys to lay on the compliments super heavily with other guys. So absolutely it happens in some groups, but are they complimenting each other and not you? Are they insulting you but not each other? Like, I would want to know more into the dynamics of this group here. That said, if you don't fit in this sort of group, the answer might be, again, find new friends because you don't fit this group. I'm just not sure yet if this is a case of you don't fit this group because you have a different friendship style, or if it's you don't fit this group because you guys have different playstyle understandings, and we don't know whose playstyle understanding is correct yet. But I'm seeing some concerns with this diva that is simple and brainless. And this much further forward than the game state allows. Give me something to prove that you understand when they are allowed, because frequently you are allowed to play pretty far forward. Okay. So again, I want to know here, I want to know the answer to this. If your friends are not, taking each other down and they're only taking you down, yeah, it's time to find a new friendship group. Definitely. If your friends are, not taking each other down and only taking you down, it's either time to find a new friendship group or go, okay, let me learn what I can from these guys. They're taking me down because they're actually trying to give me negative feedback and I can improve off of that. You probably don't want that, though. You probably want a different friendship group. So you're going to have to look at this. If it's a case of, hey, they're taking each other out, you might have to go, oh, that's what they're doing. This is how they operate. And then you can just go, hey, I'm not going to take this personally. But ultimately up to you. Okay. Anytime I try to play another support, such as Brigitte, I know she's very situational, or even Mercy, I get shot down. I need to know what your comps look like. I literally need to know what your comps look like. If you try to play Brig when your other support is on Zen, I'm not surprised that your team is, not going to be okay with that. Yes, Brig Zen is an amazing support combination, but especially if it's the random that's playing the Zen, they're probably going to go, yeah, we're not confident enough in running that. Or like, oh, the combo is Brig Mercy or Brig Moira or something like that. I'm not surprised. Or you're hopping on Mercy when you already have a Lucio, or hopping on Mercy when your team has a Winston, that sort of thing. Like, Or maybe your best player is a Genji. I don't know, but I also don't know. Like you said, it wasn't justified to play this much Ana, and you're now telling us that you try to play these two and you get shot down. What does your team comp look like? If you're running a 4 to 5 stack, you guys are basically setting the team comp for your team, and I want to know what your stack looks like. Are you guys playing the core, the backbone of a double bubble comp? Are you guys playing Brawl? Are you guys playing a ball comp? What does it look like? What are you guys trying to do? And if you guys aren't controlling the main tank because you're not playing main tank for your team, are they playing Genji Tracer? Are they playing Hanzo plus Ashe? Are they playing Pharah plus Tracer? Like, what does the core of your group look like? Because you guys are setting the tone for how your team plays if you guys control 4 to 5 players. And no, you can't just go, oh, hey, we're playing, let's take a look here at we're playing double bubble and you want to go play Mercy. No, you're not. You're not playing Mercy in our double bubble unless we want a poke heavy version of double bubble. And we do need an Ana, but I don't know. But Temporal said the Briggs Zen comp is tier 1. The Briggs Zen comp is amazing. It's like probably the best support comp right now. It's great, don't get me wrong, but it is hard to play, especially when these guys aren't GM, and they're clearly not GM. The highest SR player in the group calls all the shots, both composition-wise and in-game. What does he play? Which means I'm playing a champ I don't play, and I'm stuck on the payload and escort and hybrid maps. I almost always get gold objective time. Does that mean you're winning? If you have gold objective time, that means that your team is fighting ahead of the payload because you're not, I assume you're not on defense trying to hold the payload as Ana. That would be a tank's job. And if you regularly have gold, well, now we're in a situation where that kind of sounds like you're winning, right? Like on payload and hybrid maps, you're sitting on the cart, you have gold time, the fights are happening ahead of you. I suppose it doesn't mean that you're like, the other option would be like, then on defense, you shouldn't be the one to stop the cart. At least I hope you're not the one to stop the cart. It might be more balanced in how it happens. You still could be losing, but I see some inklings that you're potentially winning and winning hard if your team is able to consistently push ahead like this. So I'm kind of looking at this and going, okay, you being bored because your team is winning too hard, like look at wins on Rogue. Wins on Rogue back when Rogue was one of the best 2 teams outside of Korea. So this would have been pre-Owl. Yeah, he sat on payload and he tweeted from the payload a few times. It was a meme. It was a joke of like, hey, he's AFK while his team on Lucio and Cart, while his team is just farming the other team. But it wasn't really wrong. I mean, yes, Wins needed to be able to play better. Wins needed to be able to contribute more when the team fights actually happened. Wins could have left the cart to go help with the team fights and then go back. Wins could have done some things better than he did. Don't get me wrong. And Wins Lucio play could have been better, but Wins got forced off of off tank to go play Lucio. Like Wins did do a little bit of I'm going to play a role that I'm worse at because this is the best combination for the 6 players that can, the 6 best Overwatch players that could speak French at the time. And they sort of said, okay, now how are we going to figure out who plays which role? And that's how they ended up with some of their weird things like triple DPS, things like that, because they sort of moved everyone around to figure out what worked. He would have much rather been playing off tank, Zarya, that sort of thing. Anyway, the point is, that's okay. Like, I'm kind of AFKing on cart and we're winning. I guess that's fine. Like someone does have to push the cart, and if the team fight is happening significantly ahead of where the objective is, the flex support doing that is proper. Now, there's times in comps where you would instead go, hey, let's put our tracer on the comp. I don't really expect that to happen on ladder, and I don't expect I don't know what level team you guys are. Are you gold? Are you plat? Are you silver? Like, I don't know what you are, but I don't expect most teams below really masters to get some of those cart swaps right in terms of, okay, wait, no, swap our Ana to go take positioning while our tracer pushes cart. That's a more recent meta development. People are a lot more used to the flex support pushing it. So I don't necessarily see that as them being terrible. And again, it does sound like you're winning. Okay. Stuck on the payload. Like that's part of what happens to flex supports. Okay. This feeds into my next point about feeling like there's a contrast in playstyles we want to pursue. I'm very much a PTFO player. PTFO. Does someone know what that means? Do not more than you need to do. Okay? I mean, don't take excessive stupid risks can be right, but don't do more than you need to do sounds like a recipe for not improving. That sounds like it can lead to stagnation pretty quickly there. So you got to be careful with that. You don't want to take stupid risks, but that sets off miniature alarm bells for me. I feel like the team should be a unit, and that's where most energy is created. A unit how? A unit in terms of timing? Yes. A unit in terms of all stacked together? Not necessarily. Again, I don't know what comp you're playing, but if you're playing Anna, I hope you guys are running something a little double bubbly. However, my friends do it differently, a lot more loose cannon, team up for the initial push, and then disperse mentality. Are they playing something divey? Because if they're playing something divey, again, they can sync up for that initial dive, and then divers are pretty good duelists. So that's not necessarily wrong. Yes, it would be better if they all understood to focus their fire on the outsidemost target as the fight evolved. If they recycled to go, okay, our next cycle of cooldowns are up, let's hit a secondary dive in the middle of this team fight, and we all hard swap targets onto something to get the second elimination, the third elimination. Those would be better. But those are like not step 2 in learning dive comp. Those are like step, 10, 11, 12 in learning how to upgrade a team's dive comp. So, okay. It's not necessarily weird depending on what they're playing here. Team up for the initial push, then disperse mentality. But if team up for the initial push means they're all like stacking together and then they're spreading out, that's not right. There's not really any comp that really wants to do that. I mean, they might stack up to rotate through a choke, to rotate through something, and then disperse to take angles, and that would be correct. But you don't like play a Rhine comp by going, let's stack up, let's run them over, and now let's spread out. No, you could run them over if they split too much and you think you can take care of them before they can adequately peel for each other because they're too spread out. It's a niche case. It was a lot more prevalent during GOATs, but most of the time you are going to play for those angles instead. I love staggering and clearing the way for the objective, but it feels like I die on the payload, which happens very often because I'm left vulnerable due to overextended tanks and DPS. No one else gets the payload or point, it's deflating. They're probably not going to. Again, I don't know what heroes they're on. Like, it is very hard for me to answer these questions without you telling me what comps you play, what role your shot caller is playing, how much higher SR your shot caller is than the rest of the team. Like, it's very hard for us to really know the answers on some of these, especially when we're only getting the narrative from your direction. We're not getting any of the other team members' narratives on this. And we certainly didn't get like a recorded game where we can hear comms, which would have made this much better. But I look at this and go, okay, I love staggering and clearing the way for the objective. That's good. Even seeing you mention the word staggering, I like, because that suggests to me that maybe my initial read here of, anything even slightly ahead is overextending. Maybe, but I'm not convinced yet. Clearing the way for the objective, okay. But it feels like if I die on payload, vulnerable due to overextended tanks and DPS. Well, the mechanical solution to this is your team needs to control lanes. If your team is pushing ahead, they need to do a proper job of tracking where opponents are. They can't all go up main and then let opponents just walk down the side. They can go up all 3 lanes or recognize that they've cleared all the people before they go too deep so that they go, let me make sure we clear this lane on the way out, that sort of thing. So that could be a good place for feedback for your team of like, hey guys, you're never clearing the outside lanes, you're just pushing up main. Like, it's totally fine, but we can see in the feed that we only got 3 of them, and there should be a 4th person here because we didn't, eliminate that 4th person a long time ago. Clear your lanes, you scrubs. Like, you can do that, and this group may be okay with you going, hey, clear these lanes, you scrubs, because maybe seems like they're a little more, hey, take the wind out of your sails type friends. Or maybe not. Maybe they just don't like you, in which case, yes, go find more different friends. And, they may respond to that if that's the type of people that they are and that's how they like to be friends. So you could do that as perhaps a solution to you getting eliminated on the payload so often. Go, hey, control your lanes, push up your lanes, that sort of thing. You can also play a little bit more behind the payload. You can absolutely call when someone shows up and, go, hey, I would like peel, that sort of thing. That's a cool thing you want. Someone should ideally someone should come back to peel when you call that someone's come back to card and who's fighting you, but they should come back to peel. You do need to also be able to defend yourself to fight them off. They should not leave you to 1v1. I will be perfectly clear. They should not leave you to 1v1 a D.Va, a Lucio, a Tracer that comes and finds you on cart, anything along those lines, a Sombra. But you should also be able to win that 1v1 at least 40% of the time. And I do mean that. Like, you do need to be able to win that 1v1. And if you can't win that 1v1, that's probably a sign that you're also getting eliminated very quickly. And if you're getting eliminated very quickly while they're on their way back, I don't know that I care. Or also, if you are regularly getting eliminated so fast, like you call for help and then you're eliminated 2 seconds later, and so they've just given up on coming back to help you out because they know you can't defend yourself at all, I could understand where they're coming from. That might actually be the most successful strategy for the team, to sort of keep you out of the fight, keep you back on the cart because you're just losing duels too fast. But again, I don't know that. You haven't given me any of your gameplay. Like, that might actually be their most winning strategy, where they're sort of hiding their weak player. I don't know that. Hopefully you're not their weak player. Hopefully you can win some of those duels, and hopefully you can do that. And I'd also like to see you going, hey, take the wind out of their sails and say, Tracer, what was that? Left lane, totally clear. What are you going up mid for? That sort of thing. Like, hey, absolutely go for that. Temporal, he's in chat now. Oh, excellent. Thank you. Who do we have? YS says I can relate. Oh, hey, YS. Haven't seen you in chat in a bit. My mic is acting up. No one did point that out. That is super disappointing. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, okay. So who is this? Is it James who's in chat? Let me boot up Overwatch and see. Excellent. Great. We're gold plat for reference. Fantastic. You're the OP of the post, just hopped in. Great. So James, if you can tell me the code for a game you just played. Perfect. We will work with that then. Let's pull one of these up. I'm not going to turn this into a full VOD review, but I do want to take a few moments to look at this and see what we see. It happens, YS. Try to ping me to let me know when you can't make it in the future, but it does happen. Not a big deal.
Traveling to Havana.
There's not a ton I can do here. Let me try to do this real quick with audio. Any better, guys? Hopefully. No comms in this? Yeah, no, that's fine. I know I'm not going to hear your comms, but I can live with that. I know you're going to be playing Ana. Okay, so I already see... Well, I don't know which side you are. Are you green or blue? You're Deafy. We're in Discord, and in game I am Deafy. Deafy? I don't see a Deafy. Ah, Deafy. Got it. Okay, so you're playing Mercy here. And I take a look at this, and this tells me a couple things right off the bat. We're going to jump through real quick. We'll review a little bit of it probably, but there you're playing some Mercy. You're playing an Orisa comp with some Sigma. You're playing some Double Shield. Now you're on BAP. Okay. Now you're on Mercy. Oh, I want to see that. You're on... Mercy with a Ball Tracer. Are we about to cap something? Is that what's going on here? Is this respawns? Not really. Zarya Ball. but they probably swapped into the ball for the end here. Before that, they were on Rein. Okay. Okay. So I see that. Let me just look at this a little bit further. I suspect I know what's going on here. Okay. So, you tell me, is this your shot caller / best player? Is this your shot caller / best player? I would like to know the answer to that question. Other things that I am going to be... No, it's Adam. Oh, okay, it's Adam. Interesting. So it's Adam, your Sigma player, that is asking you to play Ana. There's some Rein action out of them. And now they're on ball. Okay. And is the main tank in your group or no? You said this is a 4 or 5 stack. Is the main tank in your group, or are you guys playing around randoms being main tank? You're all here by Bar Soldier. Okay, got it. So this does make things more interesting, because is it normal that you play Orisa like this, or are you playing Orisa like this because this is Havana? So Temporal picked the guy not in your group, right? Main tank is in group. Okay. Would you guys usually play a fair amount of Orisa, or is this because it's Havana? And the reason I ask this is I'm trying to figure out if there's any justification for putting you on Ana. Not sure about the Orisa pick. It's uncommon for your composition. Okay. And now we're on to Rein Zarya. Okay. So, and now you went on BAP, and because you had the Ana. Did you want to play BAP? Did they tell you to play BAP? Do you have any memory of this? Because I look at this and go, hey, if your team is playing a lot of Rein Zarya, which is a possibility, I don't know, maybe they play a lot of Rein Zarya, totally reasonable that you would play BAP. Like, all the time. BAP is actually a better pick than Ana. Straight out. Now, you have to get good at weaving, but BAP is a better pick than Ana, and I'd be surprised if they're trying to ward you that heavily off of BAP and onto Ana. Rein Zarya is very common, which usually prompts the Ana pick. Wow, that's informative. Ana is okay at healing Reinhardt. Don't get me wrong, Ana can heal Reinhardt, but the reality is Ana and BAP heal for very similar amounts when it comes to healing the Reinhardt. Yes, Ana can do more. She's got nade. She can pump herself ahead like that. But BAP actually does more total pressure that helps Reinhardt win his battle better. If you're actually weaving effectively, where you're getting left clicks and you're able to, between your right clicks, get 1 to 2 left clicks, and that's very easy if you're aiming at a Reinhardt. If you're in a situation where... Annoying. Let's go a little further out here. That'll work. No, it won't, because you refuse to give me a team fight when I just jump around. Okay, fine. We'll rewind a little bit. Okay. This is basically exactly what we want. We want to be BAP like this, where we can go, hey, very easy for us to go right-click onto our Rein, double left-click onto their Rein, right-click onto our Rein, double left-click onto their Rein, right-click on our Rein, and we want to do that at such a pace that our right-clicks are not delayed at all. We will put out as much healing as an Ana is before they get their nade, but we will be putting out a lot more offensive pressure, and what that'll do is it'll cause the opposing Reinhardt to have to put their shield up much more frequently than they would against an Ana, because they're losing health, and once that happens, when their shield is up, they can't swing at your Reinhardt. So the pressure battle actually goes quite a bit harder in your favor, so against these guys, if you're playing BAP as opposed to Ana here. If you're playing Ana, you have to hit your cooldowns, you have to get value with the sleep darts, the nades, that sort of thing. If you're playing BAP, you have to effectively weave. It's not that hard. It takes some practice, but it's not that hard to do basic weaving where you're shooting between your tank and their tank. So do that, you will put out as much healing. Now, the people who are going to get less help are probably the Genjis of the world, the Cassidys of the world, maybe, the Echoes of the world, the Pharahs of the world, but who cares? If you guys are playing Reinhardt Zarya frequently, you get AoE heals that will sometimes get both of them. These two are easy to keep on your screen, and you're going to be in a situation where you can go, oh, hey, it's very easy for me to right-click my Zarya and then single left-click or double left-click their Rein, their D.Va. There's one of the tanks that is very close, a very small crosshair adjustment, and then flip back to my Reinhardt, to my Zarya, whatever the case may be. So this would actually be your pick if you're A, feeling bored to tears about Ana, and B, want to better enable a team that frequently plays Reinhardt and Zarya. And if your team sometimes plays an Orisa, BAP works better with an Orisa than Ana does, no question. So BAP seems like he should be your pick if you're bored of Ana, and if your team is objecting like, oh no, we need you at Ana, what they're worried about is they're worried about you getting distracted and going DPS BAP, or they think your BAP is bad for some reason, and just don't go like stupid on the DPS. And not going stupid on the DPS doesn't mean don't do damage. You should do lots of damage on BAP, but that damage shouldn't come at the cost of significant amounts of healing. BAP's right click has a mandatory delay, a pretty long delay between each right click, and you want to fill that time with 1 to 2 left clicks. As long as you're not taking a bunch of time to aim those left clicks or to then aim your right click, as long as you can immediately flick back and hit it, you're fine. And the easiest way to do that is to put all of your focus as you're learning BAP heavily on your tanks and their tanks, who will be close together. So that would be sort of the first thing I would recommend here if you're in this situation of, hey, you're bored to tears of Ana and your team is making you play Ana. There's not a good reason based on what I'm seeing for you to be playing Ana here other than your team getting scared that you're going to go DPS heavy if you play BAP and just like ignore them and go, forget you guys, I'm going to go over here, drop a window and wipe out their team. And you know what? Fine with me if you do that. But hey, okay. So that does help with the context a little. And how high level is your highest level player? You said your highest level player is your Adam. He's your highest SR player, and you guys are in the gold to plat range. Is he diamond? Is he high plat? Well, some of the others of you are like barely gold. What are we looking at there? They probably just think BAP isn't a good healer. Lots of low elo players think that for some reason. Yeah, they're just wrong. And if they're confused or if they give you grief over that, I am a former top contenders coach. I have placed top 3 in, let's see, I've placed top 3 in North America, Australia, and in South America. I've got a pretty good idea. I'm a pretty good argument from authority if you want to go that route. That said, they should pretty quickly realize it themselves of, oh, I'm actually getting plenty of heals, and oh, I'm getting to swing on the other Reinhardt quite easily because he's having to shield a bunch. For some reason, he's not swinging on me. Oh, great. What do you know? Funny how that works. Okay. Low diamond, peaked masters. Okay. 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 That tells me a lot of what I need to know. So it's these guys. I just want to jump through comps one more time. You guys are playing some Cassidy there.
Ready for battle.
Cassidy. You guys have the Ana here. And how fixed is your group? Are you guys usually the same 5 people? Or is it a case of you have some rotation in your 4 to 5 stack if you usually have 4 to 5 people, but maybe 7 or 8 people make up the group? So BAP can be a good healer if you're not composed of things that he has difficulty healing, Pharah, Echo, etc., and you can hit your shots. Right. BAP is fine. BAP is totally fine, and it looks like your player, I see here they're playing Tracer, but most of the time it looks like they play, well, we're seeing more Cassidy than Tracer, and even when they're on Tracer, Tracer's not the hardest heal in the world for BAP. Okay. So that's fine. It's not very fun being led with the guy who sits on payload and intervenes every now and then. Healing up the carries is not the way I want to play support. I mean, healing up the carries shouldn't be, but like, Again, that shouldn't really be a problem for BAP. Your carry, it sounds like, is probably your Reinhardt, and BAP will interact pretty heavily with your carry. But that, to some degree, supports do that. I mean, they do more than heal them. They also enable them. Discord orbs, weaken targets that they're shooting at, that sort of thing. But okay. I want to support my friends as a team, and I want protection in return. Why do you need protection in return? Like, I was talking about this maybe right before you got here, maybe you were here for it. Your team should control lanes. If you're sitting here on cart, like, it is right for you to be pushing cart in this situation. You are the correct person to be pushing cart in this situation. That's fine. If you find that opponents are able to walk up through here and slam on you, yes, you should be aware of that possibility and you should answer them, but you should also take the wind out of your friend's sails and be like, hey, guys, who's controlling right side? You scrubs, what are you doing? Like, that seems like it's probably the right way to interact with this group, based on what I'm seeing in your post. And if you don't like interacting with your friends in that way, yeah, it might be time to find a new group. That's obviously going to be a you call. I don't know how much pleasure you get out of your social interactions, or if you guys are just Overwatch friends, real friends, if you're real friends that have drifted and have gotten along worse and worse as time has gone on, but you're just sort of going through the motions of inertia, or what. Oh, second replay code. Thank you. And again. Okay, let's take a look.
Traveling to Lumbani. Ready for battle.
Okay, so let's take a look.
Ready for battle.
Okay, well now it makes more sense. So, you should absolutely be playing Ana here. Ana is the correct pick for you here. If this team does not have an Ana, your Winston would be quite unhappy. Ana Mercy is reasonable for this comp. I believe this is currently your random, and this is a perfectly reasonable setup for you guys to be in right now. Typical describing every type of friendship? I mean, I can, yeah. Okay, so let's take a look there. This is a reasonable comp that you guys are running. Sure. Do we have some you on cart action going on here? How did you end up in that situation? Here you are. This is fine. Your Winston's going in. You do not have Nano right now, and he went in pretty hard. I mean, I'd be willing to call Winston a feeder for that. You guys are pushing back there, Winston. You wasted your nade. Your team wasn't in any danger there, and that's why the nade is a waste. Press the I need healing button real quick, because you want Mercy to heal you while it's cheap after that Moira orb. Before, good. Okay, you guys send in a self-destruct that's kind of shallow. Was your D.Va actually broken? Did she have to send that? Your D.Va took their hand off the mouse. Oh, I did a bigger rewind than I meant there. Okay. We talked about this. We want you to get healed back up. She did that because she got hooked in. Okay. This is a good time to make a play. Like, I am annoyed, and I will continue to be annoyed that your Winston is not taking advantage of the fact that this Hog does not have hook to go up and jump this Winston, or to go up and jump on top of this bus and cleave these guys from here. I do not want my Winston tank trading while Hog's hook is on cooldown and while we have a self-destruct taking coverage. So I'll take the wind out of his sails. I got no issue doing that. I don't know why we're jumping on top of a Hog that almost has hook back. I don't know why we're jumping on top of a Hog, period, when he's not discorded and also being attacked by Tracer and Purple and whatever the case may be here. Get yourself some cover, Ana.
No, I think this cake's a little undercooked.
Okay. And are you guys going to have a counter hit? So you weathered the storm and now you counter push back in. That's reasonable. You have no health. You nade yourself. Fine. That's right. And now, do you have the ability? Okay, so that's why you got in there, because they sort of circled on you, and you decided to go in here. This is that. Fine. You don't have sleep, do you? What'd your sleep get used for?
My ultimate is already.
That's right. And you're just not hearing the Winston circling on you. You need to tuck in here. You need to know that there's a health pack right here. You need to tuck in here because you need cover. Yes, we want this hog gone, but you can hear that someone's circling on you. You don't have cooldowns. You need to get yourself both cover against the hog in case him or the Hanzo shoot at you, and you also want this health pack. Like, that's just how this rotation should be going right now. Okay. Jump ahead a little. Okay. I'll go back to sort of answering the more general question in a second, guys. Now that I have some context, I can answer it better. The like, hey, playing with his friends, that sort of thing. Why are you in the front line? Okay, so Valk is going. Why are you in the front line? Okay. Why are you here? You could be chilling up here. You could be chilling here. I don't need to be here where I can see the opponents unless I'm shooting at the opponents, and there's plenty of friends to shoot at right now. And if I want to shoot at the opponents, I want an angle to do it from. I want to shoot at them. I want to sneak over here and drop a nade or a sleep. I want to be up here and go, hey, I can shoot at them, I can close the angle, that sort of thing. Or I want to force my way over here and be able to go, I'm healing, and then I open the angle and shoot. But I'm not opening this angle on this team right now. This is like, what are you doing? Why are you here? Are you rotating? This is a terrible place to be. This is a terrible place for you to be. This is a terrible place for your Ashe to be. You're all fired. Like, you're all fired. Plat my butt. Tracer, you get to keep your job. Okay.
30 seconds remaining.
Hit the sleep. But you're just chilling in the front line, man. Like... But it's not like I can be that upset because your Winston is jumping on top of Roadhog when there's plenty of other targets. Like, I do this to everyone, by the way. It's painful, but I do this to everybody. You're not actually especially bad at the video game. Okay.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay, so that's fine. I've probably seen enough there to have my conclusions. Okay, so if I re-look at this and go, hey, your friends are taking the wind out of your sails, or they're actually insulting you, take your pick, degrading you, as you said, I would look at this, and I still haven't heard their comms. I don't know that, but I would look at this and say, you want to think of your support combos like this. If you're trying to play around your carry, which, by the way, is a good idea as a support player, and your carry is your main tank, play your support to match his main tank. If he's playing Reinhardt, play yourself some BAP. If he's playing Winston, play yourself some Ana. If he's playing Orisa, you're probably again going to play yourself some BAP. If he's playing Ball, you probably want to play yourself some Zen. That's probably how you want to do this. Now, if it's a case of he doesn't usually main tank and this was unusual, okay, maybe that changes things a little bit. But if that's your best player, play to feed them resources actually is a pretty good idea. That's kind of what you do as a support. You're not just feeding them resources. Some of the resources that you're giving them are disabling enemies. Like, yes, a Zen can give a Ball Harmony Orb, but Discord orbing their opponents is very valuable as well. Hitting those anti-nades is very valuable as well. But yes, you're also playing to give Winston a fair bit of protection through high Ana heals as well as Nano to give him a stronger, powerful engage. The BAP, yes, they are enabling their Reinhardt by healing them, but they're also enabling their Reinhardt to swing more by locking down the other Reinhardt and forcing them to shield. So, like, it shouldn't just feel like boring heal bot duty. If it does, you're doing it wrong, but there is some degree of you're a support. You are supporting, enabling other people's plays. Can we do a review today, Temporal? Yeah, YS, that's fine. We can do a review a little bit later. Okay, so that's going to do that. And as a frontliner. been watching ML7. ML7 doesn't full frontline with Ana either. ML7 rotates into aggressive positions, and it feels like he's doing it constantly, but it's because he's doing it in anticipation of his cooldown coming up. He's not actually living in the front line. What he's doing is he's rotating into an aggressive position when his ability is about to come up, and then he's in that position when the ability's up, and then he gets value out of the ability, and that causes the enemy team to cower a bit because he got Ana value, which causes his positioning to go from aggressive to average because the opponents have cowered, and then he starts moving up to set up the next aggressive ability. Like, he's actually playing reasonably, and if you see him not get a value out of his ability, he will then get into better, more standard positioning. Okay. Difficulty adapting to mouse plus keyboard. Fine. Okay. Thanks so much for this feedback. This is so informative. I will continue to support the stream, subscribe, and join the Discord. Absolute lifesaver, mate. Thank you. No problem, man. No problem. So again here, you have to decide what you want to do in your friendship group, but you can take, if they are being insulting towards each other in general, I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. It's just how they interact with each other. If they're only being insulting towards you, that's when you start going, hey, I need to find new friends. Or if you just don't like that sort of friendship where you're taking the wind out of each other's sails, sure, you can find a new group. In terms of them insisting that you're on Ana, well, I think I've armed you with the tools to go, no, play the support that makes sense for your tank buddy there. That's going to do the most good. And if he's giving you gripe or the group is giving you gripe, you could just be like, these are the supports that best enable these tanks, and, that's what I'm going to do. You'll get plenty of healing on BAP, or, hey, you know what? You need more healing? Use cover. That sort of thing. If you don't like that they're not complimenting you, again, I'd ask, are they complimenting each other? Because some groups will, slap each other on the back and be like, yeah, you go. Like, this is volleyball. Fantastic. That sort of thing. Others just don't do that. A lot of guys just don't do that. And looking for affirmation from other people, like, you're not going to get affirmation from other people in video games very often. It's just not going to happen. Okay. If that's something that you're seeking to get out of video games, it's not a great place to go looking for it. Okay. Contrast, now you want to play. Again, I didn't really go look specifically for how much you guys are overextending ahead of the cart after one fights. I did see one point where you were on the cart, and that's right. You're going to end up on cart a lot as flex support. Especially when you're on Zen, you'll actually want to ask to swap quite a bit with your Tracer player. Like, Tracer, come cover this. But on Ana, on BAP, you're mostly going to get stuck on it, and that's just kind of life. And you have to be careful with the Tracer swap timings. That is a complicated aspect. If you want to know when you should be pushing cart versus them, it should be, let's say, team fight phases. Let me fold that up. Let me take a look. Sorry, I'm trying to find in my library the video to link it for you. No, not able to find it by name right now. That's life. I do have something in my library that can help with that. Perhaps someone else is able to find it and will link it. If not, if you watch my videos, you'll come across it, and I go over sort of the phases of between fights, of what happens there, what's happening, and there is a point at which you would swap your flex support with someone else potentially in some situations, but that gets pretty advanced, pretty complicated. Most of the time, you're just going to end up with the cart there, and that's just sort of life. Okay, let's hop back here. Cool. Temporal sounds terrible. It's not you. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Kibble says, I usually choose a support based on how easy it is to heal my teammates. That's why you don't really want to play Moira with Winston, for example. Your healing just takes so long to get to him. Unless you're playing specifically, and they are running 4 to 5 stacks, so they could choose to play 6-man rush comps, Talon dive comps, rush brawl hybrids that will take advantage of Winston Moira together. It's actually quite powerful with very little practice, but yes, generally Moira Winston isn't a good combo outside of that. No, it's not a sore throat. It's my mic clearly just isn't happy right now. Okay. He said he doesn't enjoy playing support and does it because the team demands it. Okay, so then you've got to look and go, hey, does it make sense? Like, again, you have to make the decision. Does it make sense to play with the group if they're forcing you onto it? Does it make sense to revisit that issue and go, hey, guys, I'm a better off-tank? Again, my concern is some of what I saw you describe about off-tank in terms of D.Va being sort of brain dead really, really concerns me. And how good is your off-tank player at their next role? Like, is your off-tank player a pretty good DPS player? Okay, there you go. You replace this random, DYMZ here. You go, hey, off-tank plays that, and then you flip over to off-tank, and you're good. But you're going to have to look. And this could be a case of Adamir has looked at the group and has seen what has gotten the most results. I don't know that I give Adam quite that much credit based on the jumping on Roadhogs as Winston that I was seeing, but, it's possible that that's kind of why he designed the strategy the way he did, because he is actually maximizing. But if you're not enjoying that, you have to decide if you want to keep playing with them or not. I think the bigger decision, rather than what heroes you play, will be, do you like hanging out with this type of groups? And if you're not enjoying it, if you're not having fun, don't. Like, it really is that simple. You only get so much time on this earth. You only get so much free time. Use it how you want. I mean, some of it you're going to have to use to make money, to make the rest of your life enjoyable. Some of it you're going to have to use to work out so that you get more time, so that you get to function at a higher level, both mentally and physically. Some of it you're going to have to use finding more jobs so you can get paid more in the future. Some of it you're going to have to use doing things you don't want to do to get better at other aspects of your life effectively as an investment. But, like, if you're spending it with friends that you don't particularly like hanging out with, well, what are you doing? Find new friends. And you can't just snap your fingers and be like, okay, now I have a new group of 6 friends or whatever, but you can start working on it, and you can start to pull away from the group that you don't like. And I'd probably, I'd say, yeah, do that if you're really not enjoying it. Temporal called their best player a feeder. Yep. Yeah, we know 3 people on card isn't really that strong. Okay. Okay. I solo queue and often get slightly frustrated at how people are riding the payload on attack and not preparing good positions for the next fight. I'd love to have the teammates of this person. Right? Right? Okay. Sure. Yes, if people want actual full reviews, either individually or for teams, you can get that. I do professional coaching. I do coaching for hire. You can join my Discord to see what my rates look like. Join in there, and you can see my individual rates either for stream reviews or for in Discord us talking to each other reviews. And I can also do team coaching. I do it for a lot of teams already. I do university coaching for a lot of different university teams, as well as some other stuff that I just won't get into there. Okay. I think that works. Yeah, I think that works. Can we do a review now? Sure, we can do a review now, YS. Yeah, let's do one of those. So I'll ping you after this, but we'll head into a review shortly after this with YS. So I suspect we're going to be looking at a support review there for those of you that are interested. If you want to see when it goes live, or maybe we'll be uploading it later, depends which format YS is going for here. But best way to see when streams happen is to join my Discord, and in there you can go down to get notifications, react to become a watcher, and if you become a watcher, you get pings when I go live for streams and such. And pings when I go live means you can see, oh, this is a support review. I care about this. Oh, this is a response to a Reddit thread. I care about this. Oh, this is about how people can get their lives together. I care about this. Oh, this is a review of, someone else's Overwatch guide. Temporal's telling us whether it's any good or not, or ripping it apart. I want to see this, that sort of thing. Or I don't. And then you can see what you want, don't see what you don't want. But if you guys are enjoying the content, please do drop a like, consider subscribing, and we are good to go. Yes, I will reset my mic first. Thank you, Blah. I guess, no, we caught up on chat. We don't really need more comments here. We can do a quick look. The thing is, too many of these comments are going to be without information. Sounds like you need different friends to play Overwatch with. I still don't have the answer to that because James hasn't really told us. Yeah, my mic sound is definitely broken. I can't fix it midstream, guys. Again, same comment here. That's ultimately something that James is going to have to decide there. Whether it's a case of they don't like him, whether it's a case of he doesn't like the type of friendship that the group has, or whether it's a case of, hey, you know, you just haven't recognized that the way these guys interact with each other is that, and that doesn't mean they don't like each other. But that's going to do it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and call it there. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.